Welcome to the honeymoon capital of America, Pocono, Pennsylvania, where tonight Truck Series lovers will be treated to a thriller at the track known as the Tricky Triangle. The drivers are ready to go. How about Christian Eckes in the 19 coming off the win from 2 weeks ago, starting on pole after qualifying was rained out. And his biggest competitor, that guy, Corey Heim, starting outside front row, already a four-time winner, lost this race on the last lap a year ago. Perhaps redemption tonight. And the 15, Tanner Gray, he's 10th. He's on the cut line. Got to step up. Only 3 more opportunities to lock himself into the playoffs. And the 43, Daniel Dye, coming off the career best finish of second at Nashville. He's got momentum. He's got confidence. It is on his side. Well, the drivers are ready to go. Let's kick things off and go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans, render a hand salute as the United States Marine Corps Recruiting Station Color Guard from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome President and Senior Chaplain with Motor Racing Outreach, Billy Malden.
Heavenly Father, as we rise up to recognize your presence in our lives, we're grateful for your love and your goodness and your mercy that surrounds us daily. Be with these drivers, teams, officials tonight. Bless every night body with a safe night of racing. Lord, I pray for the fans that are here tonight, Lord, that they would have many great memories. And Father, as always, we remember the men and women of our armed forces and first responders, both here at home and abroad. We ask you to be with them and their families, keep them safe. May your peace and your presence surround us all. In Christ's name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania native, Robin Schneider.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well done. And we say good evening on this Friday. I'm Jamie Little, joined by Phil Parsons and Michael Waltrip. So happy to have you joining us. Big night at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And I just mentioned it, Phil. 3 races to go before we're racing for a championship. There's a lot on the line for a lot of these guys who want to lock themselves in.
Yeah, without a doubt. We start out at Daytona in February. Those guys want to be one of those 10 that make the playoffs. Let's take a look at our playoff standings here. We already have 4 guys that are locked in. You see them because they've won races this year. You see Tom Majeski, such a huge edge right now. He can even lock himself in today without a win, but that's where it's going to get interesting down below Tom Majeski. Let's look closer to this bubble line down here. You see Tyler Rankin 47 above. We thought that was pretty safe. Well, Taylor Gray lost 34 points just in his last race alone after a bad finish, so he is not secured. You see the cut line. You see Tanner Gray 14 points above the cut line. We've got 180 points left over these 3 races. Anything can happen. Daniel Dye with that great second-place finish gained 23 points last time for the cut line, so it's definitely doable. You see Matt Kraft and Chase Purdy, they're probably in a must-win situation, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, Michael, it's always fun to watch when we come and race at Pocono. And last year's race, I'm telling you, that was a barn burner, as we say, all the way down to the last lap.
Yeah, and from lap 1, by the way, Jamie, on the initial start of the race, these guys got crazy, and that's what you're going to see here. That front straightaway is so long and flat, you can't see through the other trucks. They go at the front, but they don't go back in the field. Look at the contact made back there before they even take the green flag. You think they'll settle down now, right, Phil?
Oh, yeah, sure.
No. When they get to turn 1, they're going to dive bomb and take them 3 and 4 wide. This place is notorious for big runs down this front straightaway, big drafts. And the finish of the race, that was lap 1, and the finish certainly didn't disappoint either. Kyle Busch with a big run off turn 1. He's able to get to the inside of Corey Heim, but look, he didn't clear him yet, but he was able to keep control of that truck, drive off turn 3, and go to victory lane. What an amazing drive. Pocono, the Truckee Triangle never disappoints, I can promise you that.
You say the Truckee Triangle?
That's what it is tonight. That's what it is tonight, the Truckee Triangle.
I love that. What a moment it was for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch Motorsports getting win number 100. Of course, they have turned into Spire Motorsports, so no KBM racing and winning here tonight. Well, the tranquil Pocono Mountains are going to roar to life when we drop the green flag coming up next from Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Do this with my eyes closed.
Pocono.
One of the most unique racetracks you will ever see.
One of NASCAR's great unknowns.
It's called the Tricky Triangle, right?
A triangle represents perfection. It can infer the past, the present, and the future.
Racing in the Pocono.
This is what racing's all about.
They're crashing hard into the outside wall.
And while the shape seems basic,
It's good racing.
this one is anything but that.
That's intimidating, isn't it?
No perfect corners, no identical straights. 3 races remain to lock in for the playoffs.
He's a man.
The pressure is high and the racing is intense. Truck racing from Pocono is next.
Welcome back to Pocono Raceway as we get ready for race number 14 on the season. Weather so far looking good. We had a little sprinkle earlier, but things are looking awesome, especially for the Watermelon Man. Ross Chastain back in the field, a winner already this season, the only Cup star in the field, starting 27th tonight. Let's now go trackside to fire those engines.
Pocono Raceway fans, this is the moment you have all been waiting for. Please welcome the president of CRC Industries Americas, Stephen Drake.
Drivers, start your engines!
Let's take a look now at our Craftsman starting lineup. Qualifying rained out earlier, so Christian Eckes by the metric will start on pole with Corey Heim outside front row. Behind him, Grant Enfinger and Tanner Gray, who we mentioned right on the bubble needs to have a good night.
Back in row number 3, a couple guys that have been knocking on the door of a win. Daniel Dye with that runner-up finish, and Tom Majeski with 2 second-place finishes.
Chase Purdy's going to line up along. There's Nick Sanchez, Stuart Friesen, that's in the top 10. There you see Tanner Gray, Jake Garcia, just outside the top 10. These guys are all going to be battling up front all day long. Hey, how about we try to talk to Ross Chastain, starting back in 27th position. It'll be fun to watch him carve through this field. Hey, Ross, it's Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy?
Hey, Mikey, I gotcha.
Well, I was just telling the viewers at home that it's going to be fun watching you carve your way through this field. What's your plan? 3 wide on the first lap, or just whatever it takes in that Maryland Mellons truck of yours?
Yeah, Al Neese gave me a really pretty Mardell Watermelon Chevy here, Mikey, and I don't want to tear it up on lap 1. There's not many laps but there's enough to be a little patient. So probably a little space down to turn 1, and then we just go race. But yeah, want to had Caden get tore up last year, and I almost did up the start. We're starting back here, so we don't want that. So a little space to get going, and then we go race.
All right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us. We'll be watching. Have a good one.
Only former Pocono winner in the Truck Series in the field tonight. Let's say hello to the reporters covering all the action, Josh Sims and Amanda Busick. Good evening, Amanda.
Hey, Jamie, and while we know the conversation has been on Christian Eckes and Corey Heim this season, I asked last year's Rookie of the Year, Nick Sanchez, where he fits in this discussion, and he said, with our 2 wins on the season, we have proven that we can be faster than these guys, but it is my aggression that gives me an edge over those 2. Well, he's starting 9th tonight. We will have to see that out of Nick here at Pocono, but one of the feel-good stories coming off of Nashville was Daniel Dye finding his first career top 5, and you'll remember in his post-race interview, he talked about his confidence. He told me today that while the recognition from that was cool, the self-validation was better. Oh, and he also talked about his nerves tonight. Said that they are so close to that first win, so close to making the playoffs, and he could do both tonight in a matter of 2 hours. Josh?
Well, an already frustrating season for Lane Riggs got worse today during practice. He lost control coming off turn 1, hit the wall. As a result, they went to a backup truck, the team just getting through tech, as that was a whole process to get that backup truck ready to go tonight. For Lane, he was frustrated, he was upset, he apologized to the team, and for him, he doesn't have any starts here at Pocono in any series and didn't get a chance to practice, so the first part of this race is going to be just a learning process for that 38. He's a guy that at this point needs a win to get into the postseason. Speaking of wins for the postseason, Matt Crafton in that 88 truck has never missed the postseason. Right now, he's 54 points below the cut line. When I caught up with his crew chief, Jared Prince, earlier today, he said, hey, we're going to have to try some things. We're going to have to get off strategy. We're going to have to do something different to give ourselves a shot at getting a win to keep that streak alive. So keep an eye on how the 88 team handles this race, and we see if Crafton gets crafty out here tonight, Jamie.
I see what you did there, Josh. Lot to watch tonight, no doubt. Michael, how about the Craftsman track description?
Crafton getting crafty?
Yeah.
Waltrip getting all descript with you here. Look at this racetrack. Each turn, different banking, straightaways all diversely different. A lot of speed too, Phil, upwards of 185 miles an hour as they head down into turn 1. That's why they call this place the Tricky Triangle. It's tough to get a hold of. Lane Riggs and that backup truck's going to have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is longer than we've ever had here before. 10 extra laps, 70 laps, 175 miles. You see our stage 1's 15 laps, our stage 2 15 laps. At final stage, again, longer than ever, 40 laps. And you see the pit window somewhere between 30 and 32 laps. Normally you would say, okay, there's going to be a pit stop in the final stage. And there will be a pit stop in the final stage. But the strategy is going to be all over the board. This is what's happened over the last several years here. You see 3 times it took 2 pit stops to win this race. 4 times only 1 pit stop. We know we're going to have at least 2 pit stops, but when they're going to come, I talked to Jeff Stankiewicz, Grand Fingers crew chief. He said, I said, how thick is your playbook? He said, about 47 pages. He said, because it's dynamic. It changes every single lap depending on where you're running, how your competition's doing. We know a lot of those guys around the bubble need those stage points. But if you get to stage points, it's going to be hard maybe to win that race if you get to stage points in the second stage. So there's a lot on the plate here.
There's so much going on with those crew chiefs and communicating with their drivers. Oh, Phil, throw in weather, by the way. What if we get a shower?
That's 7 other pages of that playbook.
2 onboards tonight, Phil.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Tanner Gray. He's going to start in the 11th. This is the Operation 300 Toyota. 14 points above the cut line coming in here. Extremely important race here for Tanner Gray.
Let's hop on board with Daniel Dye. He's starting his Race to Stop Suicide.com truck in the top 5, 5th position. He's going to have a good race here today. He knows how close he is to the playoff bubble and what he needs to do to get there. He's going to roll from 5th. I'm looking for a good day for him.
Green flag will drop for race number 14 of the season. That's coming up next from Pocono, Pennsylvania. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as we're getting ready to drop the green flag on race number 14. Warm night, but so far the weather's holding off, looking good. It's a quick race, you can get it in. How about this, some Pocono Raceway facts. 8 of 14 races won from the top 2 starting positions, and who's starting first and second?
Yeah.
The favorites.
The guys that have won all the races this year.
That's right.
At least over half of them anyway.
And KBM won 8 of the last 9 races, and we said
they're not going to win this one. But the remnants of KBM, which is Spire Motorsports, could possibly do that.
Rev Racing as well.
That's right.
That's right.
A couple of good trucks there. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Grant Enfinger starting up there in the second row. Let's listen in on his radio.
And me, Jeff, Tim, we got to be smart. We got to be aggressive. Both of them all day long. Get all we get 100% the whole time. Not 105%, not 95%. Let's get 100% all day long and see where the chips fall.
Great pep talk from the driver, Grant Enfinger there.
Starting back in the 8th spot, he was 3rd in practice. They had an issue with the right front. He felt like something was going wrong, pulled off the track, looked like everything was fine. But
that was
a disaster.
Jeff Stankiewicz right there, the guy that's going to be calling shots with the 47 pages of his playbook here.
Christian Eckes, Corey Heim lead the field to green. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Pocono.
A lot better start than last year, Michael, that you showed us.
Look at this, though. This doesn't look much different, does it? How many wide are we right now? 3, 4?
At least 4, maybe 5.
And it's all the way through the field they're making those wild moves. Nice start by Tyler Ankrum.
Corey Heim lost several positions there from the inside.
Grant Enfinger up on the high side in that yellow truck. Whoa, look at that move.
Corey Heim through the middle, down to the bottom. Just mentioned he lost a few spots. They're battling the 43. Daniel Dye.
Did you hear him right back to that gas? Barely even breathe it. And look that traffic he's in, yet still being able to be that aggressive on the throttle.
See him pull over, try to block the advance of the 43. How about Tanner Gray jumping to the inside in that 15 truck?
That's a hard move to make entering the corner that shallow, really low entry, and he had to really hang on to that truck to keep from bumping into the guy on the outside.
See Matt Crafton leading the inside line down there. Now they're going to fan out around him.
Love that when they come off at turn 3. What turn 4? Remember, this is truly a triangle. Turns 1, 2, and 3, 2.5 miles.
Matt Mills pushing in that 42 truck, the white truck on the bottom here. Top 10 finish at Nashville. Got a little bit of speed here early.
Dean
a big push from Dean Thompson, isn't he?
And there's Ross Chastain was on the outside of that battle.
He said he was going to be quiet for a bit. How many times have you seen Ross Chastain?
That's a different Ross Chastain than I've known.
I've not met that guy.
Me either.
See the 7 there, that's Connor Mozak this week in that truck for Spire. Coming off his best career finish in the Xfinity Series, driving for Junior Motorsports at Chicago.
He had a great run, finished 6th up there. Ran up front all day long. Watch the 11 pull out there. Looks like, was there contact, or did he just
looked like he got loose?
Got loose, or maybe even some contact, but he never got out of the throttle. This is Tanner Gray. Watch out the windshield of this truck. That might have been a slight contact there.
That was an abrupt move. Wow. Lucky to get away with that.
Corey Heim lost 4 spots there. Meanwhile, Ty Majeski moved up 3, so he runs 3rd. As this battle here between Connor Mozak and the 45, Ross Chastain.
That's a battle for the 17th spot. Ross are already up a bunch of spots.
He's up 10, and here comes Corey on the inside. Majeski up top. I'm going to watch this 9 truck all day long, Phil. He's had a really good practice. His best lap came on his 7th or 8th lap of the race. You heard his enthusiasm, his confidence in that pre-race pep talk. Let's keep our eye on Grant Enfinger.
I believe Grant said this is the best truck he's ever had at Pocono, so really feeling good about what they have. Look at Daniel Dye, duck to the inside, picks up a spot, he makes it 2.
That's what this draft is all about. This front straightaway, these big trucks with the flat nose and the vertical roof, windshield, they just punch a big hole in the air, and you're able to take advantage of that and pounce, and that's exactly what Daniel Dye. 2 for 1 there, Phil.
Yeah, especially when they get side by side. That's such a huge hole, and almost like a push to pass on these trucks here when they get side by side in front of you.
Tell you what, confidence is a wonderful thing behind the wheel of a race vehicle, and I think Daniel's got a lot of that right now. That move was certainly evidence of that. There's Corey Heim. We saw that crazy move he made.
Let's get an update on Corey Heim. Amanda.
Replay coming up. You will see that Corey Heim had a little bit of a rough start to this race. I was talking to his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, of what may happen. He said Corey hasn't said anything, but yeah, he was definitely slow to that. But the team has been reminding him, we have the truck to battle tonight and to get back through it. And as you see with some of the lap times with Corey, he is running some of the fastest laps around Pocono right now.
Corey Heim in a brand new race truck they brought here. Wasn't thrilled with it right off the truck, but they were able to get that 20 minutes of practice, made some good adjustments, and he seemed pretty happy by the end.
Yeah, it's amazing they can bring a brand new truck and in 20 minutes dial it in.
I'll tell you who's dialed theirs in again this week. How many laps in a row is this? That Christian Eckes lady got them all last week. Here's a gaggle off the tunnel turn there. Crafton on the outside. Ross Chastain trying to get another couple of spots here. Look at that dive in there.
15th right here, Ross Chastain. We knew this was going to be fun to watch. And of course, he's not full time, so with the metric, he had to start way toward the back.
Connor Mozak's also going to try to make the pass on Matt Crafton. Connor in that 7 truck. You see him side by side with a bright yellow truck of Crafton.
Christian Eckes continues to lead out front. He's now led in every single race this season. That's just the kind of year he's had.
See Tyler Ankrum running now in the 2nd spot ahead of Corey Heim. Remember, we talked about he is the guy that's 6th in points. We don't talk about Majeski because he's absolutely going to make the playoffs, maybe even lock himself in today. But Tyler Ankrum is the guy leading the rest of that pack.
We're creeping toward the part of the race, Phil, where we're going to start talking about strategy. It's going to be a lot that goes on into this race today, whether you have points locked in, what your goals are for this event.
Michael, we're on lap 6.
I know. And we could see pit stops as early as lap 12 or 13 or as late as lap 27. We don't know how this is going to play out because of the circumstances. What's the weather doing? The crew chiefs are watching the radar. How's my truck running? Is my driver like what he's got? There's so many different variables that'll play into the decisions the crew chief makes out of that playbook you were talking about.
And there's 6 or 8 of these teams that need those stage points, and there's some that have wins that don't necessarily need the stage points. So,
or ones like the 11 that have the wins and they just want all the points.
Exactly. So it's all over the board here. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, and throw something else into how fast this race is. I mean, 15 laps for stage 1, 15 laps for stage 2. Stage 3 is the interesting part that you talked about, how it's longer this year. So that's going to mix things up with strategy a little bit there.
Yeah, we just started this race, and we're already halfway through stage 1. It's amazing how quickly they go as Corey Heim made the move.
Corey Heim for 2nd.
Look at him dive away from Tyler Ankrum. He doesn't want that air on his truck. He dives way to the inside and try to pull back up and make this corner and get that 2nd spot. And you know, you look just ahead there, that Napa truck, Christian Eckes, he hasn't driven away from these two. So I think Corey Heim completes this pass and goes and heats up Christian Eckes.
It'll be interesting to watch the scoring monitor, see how fast Corey Heim is now that he has that clean racetrack.
Christian Eckes continues to lead. Corey Heim in 2nd, Tyler Ankrum. More from Pocono after this. The battle for the lead is on. Corey Heim was just to the outside of Christian Eckes. He backs it down just a bit with only 5 laps to go in stage number 1.
Pretty serious blocking going on that last front straightaway for Christian Eckes.
I think they were, you see right here how much faster on exit that 11 truck is of Corey Heim. He's really, once he cleared Ankrum, we expected he might just drive up there and take care of Christian Eckes. He's definitely faster right now, especially on exit of the corner. He's able to pin his truck down on the left front better on exit than is Christian Eckes.
Yeah, going around that lap truck may have hurt him a little bit. You don't see he has quite the momentum, but the draft here is so critical as you can see him drawing up closer to the 19 of Eckes.
Battle for 5th there between Ty Majeski and Grant Enfinger. The two joining the party. Nick Sanchez takes a look inside. Look at this battle for the lead, side by side. Can Corey Heim get it done this time? 4 laps to go in stage 1.
Going to go in the tunnel turn side by side. We never did that back in the day. Somebody would always give way. Not anymore.
Oh, he did it.
And he does it. Corey Heim takes the lead for the first time, but not so fast. Christian Eckes fighting back.
This is the season
In a nutshell, these two battling tooth and nail. And this is just stage one.
You don't think Christian Eckes says, I'll give and cut to pit road right here, do you? Maybe play a little strategy game. We got to think about guys maybe coming to pit road here before this stage ends. Look at that. That's just crazy how they just snaked their way down that front straightaway.
And we saw Corey Heim chase down Christian Eckes. He was a second behind once he got by Ankrum. And then in 2 or 3 laps, he just caught him now. And Eckes was able to stay with him there for a lap. Now Corey Heim opens up 3 or 4 truck lengths on him.
It's wild to look at this race right now. When you saw them snaking down, it's like tandem racing. You had tandems 3 or 4 in a row coming down the front stretch. But a half-second lead now for Corey Heim.
Oh, look at that. He just is big time better off the corner. Really, you can see the difference on exit. Christian Eckes could fall back into the battle for second. Check out who the we talk about the draft. How important is the draft? Look who's the fastest 2 trucks on that last lap.
19th and 20th.
That's fun.
Brett Holmes down there in 20th with the fastest lap.
There's a battle for the 3rd spot. Ankrum and Daniel Dye. Remember, points on the line, just 2 laps to go before the end of this stage.
And you talked about Daniel Dye and momentum and how much he needs these points. This is a great run early on for that 43. It's a little bobbly there. He just needs to ride this out for a lap here and grab those stage points.
Daniel Dye just on the outside looking into that cut line, but this team has really turned things around. They are on it as he's battling for the 3rd spot here. Corey Heim continues to lead through the tunnel turn here.
Coming back to 1 to go in the stage. Remember, pit road is closed. We'll have no pit stops before the end of this stage.
That was
1 to go here.
That was some of the talk, though, Phil, that that's one part of this playbook we can eliminate.
Yeah, we throw some of those pages out now.
That's right. They were going to pit before the end of the 1st stage. That didn't happen.
How thick are your books at this point?
It's down to 38.
38 pages,
38
right?
pages.
Started at 47. We're down to 38.
Final lap of stage number 1. Corey Heim continues to pull away a 2.5 seconds now over Christian Eckes. Eckes led 11 of the opening laps. Tyler Ankrum right now back in 3rd. Daniel Dye 4th. Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 5.
He drove away from Eckes and the rest. What a strong number 11 truck.
Over 1.5 seconds in just 2 or 3 laps.
What a fun battle it was between the two of them. Corey Heim picks up his 5th stage win of the season.
Solid 7 points for Daniel Dye. In this stage, Tanner Gray will get 1 point, so that means a 6-point gain by Daniel Dye on the cut line.
It was Heim time in stage number 1. Can he hang on and get a little bit of redemption and take home the win? Find out after this. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, CRC Brakleen 175. Stage number 1 is in the books. Corey Heim picks it up and some valuable points to go along with it. Well, we've talked about the strategies. I think you guys, I'm seeing steam coming out of your heads talking about what do you do? Do you pit or don't you?
Well, I talked to Scott Zipadelli right before the race started. He said he felt like they were going to stay out till the end of the 2nd stage. He said, I want all those stage points, but he's sure staying to the inside. No, he is going to stay on the racetrack. I think we get back outside the top 10, and I think, yeah, why not come in and make something happen? And you see Nick Sanchez is going to be the lead truck that comes in and just about going to bring the rest of the field with him.
Roger Caruth back there, he decided to stay out and gain some track position. What this does for you, Phil, you can now make the race on 1 more stop. They run Josh to the middle of the 3rd stage and come to pit road, so a lot going on pit road.
For the 99 of Ben Rose, their decision was to come and pit now. Ben not all the way happy with that truck. Coming over the radio saying it was too loose. 4 tires, fuel, and they made a track bar adjustment to help out the 99, Amanda.
Yeah, and Josh, we were talking about Nick Sanchez's aggression. You'll see them pitting here in stage 1. That 2 getting the stop procedure done, set on the track that he feels like he's overheating the right front, that he needs to live longer and free up his entry, guys.
Got a tire from somebody got away and went all the way across pit road. Nobody hit it there. As we talked about, mixed bag. The top 6 stayed out. The rest came down pit road. 12 total stayed out. We'll see how this all shakes out when we come back. Stage number 2 coming up from Pocono. Tomorrow in FS1, it's a star-studded battle atop the AL East. Aaron Judge powers the Pinstripes against Adley Rutschman and the Orioles. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern on FS1. So we saw that uncontrolled tire during pit stops, and we're told that that was the 22 of Mason Maggio. So we found the home for him there. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, the top 6 decided to stay out.
Yeah, and 6 others in addition to that. So 12 trucks have stayed on the racetrack. So that takes another, what, 10 or 12 pages out of the playbook. We still have over 20.
And I think what we said before the race is there's going to be mixed playbooks. There's going to be mixed strategies, and we just saw an example of that there. And I would guess the 11 will run to about lap 28, maybe.
27, 28. If he can get to pit road, if he's still a leader, can get to pit road before the second place truck would get to the start finish line, then he can make his pit stop then. But there's not going to be a lot of them, I don't think, that will be able to make the stop on lap 28. They would have to do it on lap 27.
They're choosing, obviously, picking their lanes, and we'll get ready to roll up our sleeves and watch another one of these wild restarts. Here we go.
Let's get some updates from pit road. Josh.
Well, the 91 on Zane Smith was on pit road for a long time, and that's because he came over the radio, reported he had a horrible, uncontrollable bounce in the front end of that truck. Well, it turns out he broke a right rear shock, so they were working on that truck. They swapped it out. He's coming back in now to get more tires, and they're going to top him off with fuel as well. But a tough start to this race for Zane Smith. Amanda?
Josh Scott Zabadelli just told me that they're going to go to the end of stage 2 with Corey Heim, but I want to go back to that restart for Corey. Denny Hamlin recently mentioned that while Corey is only 21 years old, he drives like he's 35 years old. How much trust do you have in your driver?
If he's 35, that makes me 60. I trust him. You know, he's so good. Gives great feedback, so focused. But everybody on this Safe Flight Toyota Pro has been flawless all year. We've made our share of little mistakes, but hopefully we can capitalize on this truck here. It's got really good speed, and try to win both stages and then finish it off with a win.
Bill headed to the end of the stage. Surprised by that?
No, that's what he told me this morning, that right before the race, that he wanted all the points. Even though he's secure with the 4 wins, knows he's going to make the playoffs, he's still going after the regular season championship, and he's one of those drivers that could potentially have a 60-point day. If he can sweep the stages and win the race, that can be 60 points, and that can go a long way towards closing that gap up on Eckes.
And as fast as he was at the end of that first stage, he's confident staying out at the end of stage 2 and still winning this race.
Amanda mentioned trust. It goes both ways for crew chief and driver. Those two have quite the relationship as Corey Heim leads them from the outside. Tyler Ingram on the inside. Big push by Christian Eckes on the outside.
Not surprised that Corey took the outside. He lost several positions from the inside on the initial start.
Wow, such abrupt, aggressive moves. That's fun to watch, man.
There's Daniel Dye on the outside making the push to take over that 3rd spot, and he does it.
They were 3 wide, back for about 10th. Still 3 wide.
Matt Crafton's trying to make hay back there.
Look at Daniel Dye. He's going to try to hang on that outside. He made it work in turn 1. Isn't gonna have a chance to do it in 2.
This is a different driver we're seeing this year in Daniel Dye.
Just gets better every week. That race he had at Nashville, taking 2nd, was impressive.
Yeah, that was a career-altering race, I think, for Daniel Dye. We've seen the confidence growing because he's had so many good runs this year, but that one just put the exclamation point on it.
A lot of highlights this season. I think it started in Atlanta when he got his first career pole, and just realizing he can do it and what it's like to run up the front. I love this look right here. Snaking their way.
Smoking back there.
Probably a tire rub, possibly.
Sage Karam, it looks like maybe on the left side. Hard to tell.
I think something's could be under the hood too.
Yeah.
No, he's got some
letters. Yeah, no letters on the left rear as well.
Made some contact somewhere.
Sage Karam with a lot of experience at this home racetrack for him in IndyCar, Xfinity. This is his first time in a truck, but looks like he's got himself some issues.
Here comes my guy.
Yeah, Grant Emperor's coming. Grab the 4th spot from Tyler Ankrum.
Grab some well-needed stage points at the end of stage 1, and that thing's rolling. Nice momentum through the center there of 3.
You know, I think the extra 10 laps is going to make a huge difference. We talked at the top of the show how a lot of people have made this on one stop. They stopped before the end of the 2nd stage. Let's see if we can look back at the contact that Sage Karam got. Was it maybe the 25 of Ty Dillon?
And that's off the left rear, and it seems to have clearanced itself right now. Hopefully the tire doesn't blow out on him, because that would be a big crash.
Here comes Taylor Gray. Taylor parlayed a decent starting spot, now moving up well inside the top 10, trying to grab that 6th spot from Majeski.
Watch this. Here comes Stuart Friesen. While these two argue over space, he'll take them 3 wide. No, he decides to go back up top. And there is Tanner Gray.
Stuart Friesen with a great run at Nashville. Started on pole, needs those valuable points. He's one of those on the outside looking in.
Remember, Taylor Gray started all the way back in the 19th position.
You know, we talk about Daniel Dye and his momentum. What about Matt Mills? He's up inside the top 10 in that 42 truck after a strong race at Nashville.
Gonna be in a top 5 at Charlotte just 2 races before that.
You know, I just love that when we see these kids get their arms around it, figure out what it takes to run up front with these guys. I talked last week about, a couple weeks ago at Nashville, about how hard this is. Clint Boyer, Cup winner, runner-up at the Cup Championship out there, just struggling to run the top 10. That's how good these truck drivers are, and it's really cool to see one of them that has struggled a bit get his arms around it and get going.
Well, by far the best opportunity of Matt Mills' career, and good equipment here. The same equipment that 45 of Ross Chastain has, and he's making something happen.
Yeah, full-time for Nice Motorsports. Everything was new to him. A quiet, humble young man. And obviously things are starting to click over the last few races.
He's driving to the bottom of Stuart Friesen there off turn 3, seeing if he can get another spot up toward the top 5.
He's going to get a little help. Maybe. No, they're going to all go abandon them here. Wow. Go the inside. 4 wide.
Ross Chastain on the bottom. The Watermelon Man, painted like a watermelon truck. Coming through. Started in the back.
Let's move Ross up into the top 10 now. Trying to grab that 8th spot from Stuart Friesen.
Three wide, 6 laps to go in stage number 2. They're all chasing the 11 of Corey Heim and Christian Eckes.
What does fearless look like? Like trading pain with a champion? Find out for yourself. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Saturday on FS1, the battle atop the AL East rages on. Aaron Judge is on another historic tear as he powers the pinstripes against Phenom Gunnar Henderson and the Orioles. Coverage begins Saturday at 3 Eastern on FS1.
From the community in the campgrounds to the action on the track, there's something for everyone at Michigan International Speedway. Here we go. The green flag will be flying all weekend long with 3 races and endless opportunities for a good time. Family-friendly entertainment meets race fans' need for speed from sunup to sundown. End summer with a bang and discover why a NASCAR race in Michigan is anything but slow. Get your tickets today at mispeedway.com.
It's so easy to get your windshield replaced using SafeLight. Tell the people why you haven't done it already, my man.
It started off as a chip and grew into a crack, and it just keeps going.
So what do we do now?
I went ahead and scheduled an appointment online at safelight.com. Told them to meet us here at the beach.
Let's get started.
Oh, SafeLight repair.
SafeLight replace.
Yeah!
Schedule free mobile service at safelight.com.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
Inez, let me ask you, you're using Head & Shoulders, right?
Only when I see flakes. Then I switch back to my regular shampoo.
You should use it every wash. Otherwise, the flakes will come back.
He's right, you know.
Is that Tiny Troy?
The ingredients in Head & Shoulders keep the microbes that cause flakes that big.
Microbes, really?
They're always on your scalp, little rascals. But good news, there's no itchiness, dryness, or flakes down here.
I love Tiny Troy and his tiny, gorgeous hair.
He's the best.
Make every wash count. Little help, please?
Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Are we going to see some hitting?
Taylor Gray came to pit road. He was the lead truck up in the top 10 that came to pit road. I thought some of the others would join him. I thought maybe Majeski would as well, since he's got such a comfortable cushion. But there's Taylor Gray right there, Amanda.
Yeah, when I was talking to Taylor Gray earlier today, he said that we have a truck that can win anywhere. He said it's just been execution for them this year. You'll go back to Nashville. He was kind of taken out by Ben Rose, who did admit fault to that, said that he received a text message from that. And then now as we go to Nick Sanchez, some little adjustments there. Nick's been slow on the stop for the last pit stop, but really focusing on that right rear.
Yeah, good call by Nick Sanchez. Obviously 2 wins already this year. Doesn't necessarily need the stage points. But I think Taylor Gray, a little bit of a gamble by Jeff Hensley and his guys. But he feels like if he wasn't going to get but 2 or 3 stage points, he's going to have great track position at the start of the 3rd stage.
That's Lane Riggs just ahead of Corey Heim, the leader. Lane had a practice crash earlier. Just destroyed his race truck, had to go to a backup.
This is a struggle for him in that backup truck. Shame, a couple of bad weeks in a row for that 38 team.
Coming down for 1 to go on the stage.
Corey Heim with a 2-second lead over Christian Eckes. The top 6 stayed out after stage 1. Ross Chastain last pitted. The end of stage 1, lap 17. He's up to 7th.
Remember, no pit road is closed right now.
Right there.
No more pit stops unless they have an issue.
Christian Eckes, the last couple of laps, run the same time or a little bit better than our leader. Corey Heim is going to be struggling in traffic right here. That's going to hurt his lap speed, but he's not going to catch Heim anyway.
Just like that, stage number 2 in the books.
The battle for a point.
Corey Heim has been tough to beat. This battle continues. This has been good since the drop of the green flag.
That was a nice run on the outside of the tunnel, holding on to that valuable playoff, or excuse me, stage point that he needs so desperately is Daniel Dye.
There he is. Corey Heim gets a green and white checker for the 2nd stage win tonight and the 6th of the season. That's most of all drivers.
I think by the lack of people coming to pit road at the end of the stage, we only just had 2, Taylor Gray and Nick Sanchez, and Corey Heim will not lose all the track position like it could have happened if we'd had 10 or 12 trucks pit before the end of that 2nd stage.
That young man, a 4-time winner already this season. Can he make it 5 at Pocono?
Sunday, it's 2 huge finals. First in the Euros, Spain battles Jude Bellingham and England. Then in Copa America, Messi leads Argentina against Colombia. Coverage begins Sunday at 1 Eastern on Fox.
Sunday, the Summer of Stars caps off with 2 huge championship games. First, Spain takes on Jude Bellingham and England in the Euro final. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern. Then in prime time, it's Messi and Argentina as they defend their Copa America crown against Colombia. That's all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. A lot of eyeballs will be watching that. Even if you don't watch soccer all the time, Michael, we know who Messi is, and we want to see how they end up.
I get excited about it this time of year, Jamie.
Yeah.
There's your stage points for today.
So far, so perfect for Corey Heim.
How about 15 stage points for Daniel Dye?
Big night for him. Tyler Ankrum, impressive so far.
All those guys that needed stage points, most of them got them. Yes.
Stuart Friesen on that list as well. See on our left side pylon there, when folks last pitted, as you see, the majority of our top 10 hasn't pitted yet. So we think all of those trucks will come to pit road for sure. They're going to run out of gas if they don't fairly soon. Then could be a bit of a mixed bag from the other guys that pitted on lap 17, because if they pit here, they get a full tank of gas. That means they can spend less time on pit road next time when they pit, a faster pit stop when it really matters. So we could see some various strategies here, but I think we'll see most everybody pit.
Yeah, I think you see Ross Chastain. You see him. He pitted on lap 17. He's back in the 7th spot. Well, he was 15th at the end of the first stage. Came to pit road. 12 trucks stayed out. Fresh tires. He's able to move up to 7th. It worked for him. He has better track position. I think he comes to pit road. Just like you say, everybody that come to pit road now, they have the option of just doing a gas and go. They'll put fresh tires on now and a gas to go later on. They know they can run around 30 laps, so sometime they can, once they get in their window, they know they can go about 30 laps. So anywhere around lap 40, they will be, maybe even earlier than that, they're in their window to get to the end of the race. The thing is, you don't want to be caught on the racetrack when the caution comes out, if the caution comes out, because you will lose all that track position to everybody that came to pit road under green.
Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez, well, they're going to vault way up the standings, up to the front of this field, depending on how many trucks pit.
So stage 1 and stage 2, 30 laps just like that. But as we've been talking about, 40 laps now, it's going to change things a little bit. They made it longer than it's ever been here at Pocono, and that's changed a lot of things.
A lot of times, Jamie, when somebody tells you they're going to pit on lap 40, they mean 38. They just don't want you to know that yet. They always fudge that number back, and we could see that today.
They don't like to show all their cards. You saw it last week as a pit reporter, huh, Michael? All right, they're coming your way, Josh.
Let's start with the 18 of Tyler Ankrum. A really good points day for him so far, running in the top 5 in both stage 1 and stage 2. His biggest concern saying he is way too loose getting to the throttle. They're making a track bar and an air pressure adjustment to help him to find something to catch those leaders, Amanda.
Josh, I loved how Phil circled the points that Daniel Dye has picked up in these stages. You talk about growing confidence. He did tell his team that the truck is tooth-free everywhere, but not awful. And as you go down and look at Christian Eckes, he told his team, I just don't have the security to run with Corey Heim, but I do feel good about my balance at the end. And when you go to Corey Heim, that 11 truck at the bottom of the screen, his team told him, get off that box as hard as you can. That is how important these positions are on pit road.
Another tire got away. You see the mixed strategy there. Matt Mills, 2 tires. A couple more did the same thing. That will be a penalty once they know who it belongs to. And each tire does have the team number on there, and that's how they identify who it belongs to.
Came from about the same area of pit road.
Stage 1 and 2 in the book. Stage 3, 40 laps coming up. Who will get the job done?
Watch for a lot of action. It's going to heat up. You better get on the edge of your seat. Came hungry, ready to play.
It's time, baby.
Come get you a checker flag here, man.
Banging on one another. They stay side by side. Who's it going to be? What a battle for the lead.
Power steering. Losing fuel pressure.
You got to make sure you survive.
No pressure. You and the leader here. You want more good corner.
Every lap that goes by, the intensity just ratchets up.
You heard Michael's voice there, said the intensity ratchets up, and that's exactly what I'm feeling.
Exactly
right
where
now.
we are. That's exactly where we are.
And the sun is setting, the skies are clearing, and it feels like it's going to be a pretty thrilling 40 laps or so to the finish.
Well, there was a lot of stress coming in about the weather tonight and what to expect from the weather. Some guys coming down pit road. We're choosing.
It's just going on everywhere, isn't it, Jamie?
And the 19, by the way, a little bit of a struggle on pit road. We'll take a look at that as we watch them choose.
I talked to Jared Prince, the crew chief for Matt Crafton. We saw the 88 dip off the pit road. I think his plan, because he knows he has to make something happen, he's going to try to stretch from here. Just a little bit of a top off there. Going to try to stretch from here. Going to try to save all he can and make it the rest of the way without stopping.
Don't you love that?
I love that.
I mean, you got to take a chance. They didn't have a truck to be able to get up there and contend about winning. Here's a truck that did have a chance to win this race and still does, but man, problems on pit road for Christian Eckes in that 19 truck. See the Napa crew go over the wall. Jack goes well. It looks like there's problem getting the right rear off. He's trying to pull. Didn't have maybe one of the nuts off.
It had to be a lug nut hung on there. 21-second pit stop. A good pit stop for these trucks is somewhere in the 15s. those 6 seconds equate to him coming out and going to restart. He was lined up 16th before the juice.
Let's listen to his radio after that.
Yeah, that's not good. You might want to just go to plan B here. Get ready to green flag stop on 38. I don't think that's going to work out too well. Which is the above? I'll let you know here once we get something put together.
That means we're making a plan.
Yeah,
and we know we need a new plan.
Going through that book.
Flip through our pages of our playbook, and we talked about pitting at lap 40 with 30 to go. Now they back that up to 38 for this 19 truck. Maybe a quick caution gets them where they want to be.
Well, we know how good that 19 truck is. Yeah, there's that.
There it is, right there. Look at him turn the pages. Look, and it's color coded too.
And look, he's going to rip a couple pages out. That one's not any good anymore.
See all those graphs? I like to see that because on the Cup side, you don't see paper.
He's showing us his playbook.
Well done. Way to play along.
What
Charles,
a good time
tonight.
it is down on pit road. I was so thankful for the opportunity to do that in Nashville, interact with the crews, the crew chiefs. You know, they love what they get to do, and they like sharing a little bit of their inside story, not all of it.
A lot of fun. So different strategies up front. Jake Garcia, Nick Sanchez stayed out there. Matt Mills in the 42 has right side tires only. Green flag is in the air for the third and final stage.
We're going to fan out. You see Dean Thompson, Daniel Dye is going to make it 4 wide on the inside of that blue and black number 5. You see Daniel down there, that red truck here. Matt Mills going for the lead.
Finished 10th in stage number 2, picked up 1 point. Keeps it on the bottom, battles Jake Garcia.
Now he's battling Corey Heim, who's going to probably make a shambles of this lead here momentarily with his 4 fresh tires.
Nice call there for Jake Garcia, Rich Lucius of that team, getting him some track position here late. See if he can hang on to it.
Did you guys see Ross Chastain in the picture there? Up to 8th. The green and red and white. Number 45 right there.
See a late dive to the inside by Daniel, trying to get around the 77 of Chase Purdy.
Look at this battle for the lead. Heating up, didn't take long. Corey Heim back to the point. Fresh tires, a brand new race truck, and the winner of stage 1 and 2 tonight.
Here comes Nick Sanchez. Nick's got a lot of speed.
Ooh, it looked like a little contact back there. Ross Chastain.
Nick basically made a mistake in qualifying at Nashville, and then he had to run the whole race in a truck that wasn't up to the standards that he usually runs. So those are good lessons to learn, overachieving when you know your back's against the wall. Now he's able to flex his muscle here in Pocono with his primary truck.
Here comes Eckes.
Here he comes. Ross Chastain's got a mirror full of Christian Eckes. Restarted 16th. Remember, he came in 2nd.
He's up to 6th. 10 spots already for Eckes.
Well, we'll go down and look at Charles again because now his playbook is changing again. He didn't know he's going to be able to pick up 10 spots that quick.
He better get that page he took out to throw away. He better get that back out.
Why not put that one back in play?
Hasn't had a chance to look at his notes. His driver's flying through the field. Dean Thompson up in the top 10 for the first time this evening. Nick Sanchez looking for that 2nd spot.
Just don't forget about Matt Crafton. Matt's up in the top 20.
Ooh.
Nick gets loose.
They do have contact. Oh, and you hear the crowd.
That could cause some right front damage to that 2 truck. That was pretty significant. Ross Chastain took advantage of it. Here comes Eckes some more.
Chastain up to 4th. The only former Pocono race winner in the truck series in the field.
Watch the 2. He washes out coming up off the corner. Probably the back end scoots out a little bit with him and bounces off. Oh, look at that tire smoke.
Needed all that room.
Here comes Corey Heim. Look at that. Great camera shot, guys.
What a save by Nick Sanchez.
Jake Garcia came to pit road.
Stuart Friesen taking a look, makes it 4 wide behind him. Amanda.
As Jake Garcia makes his way onto pit road, he told his team that he's really tight on exit in all 3 corners. I was talking to Rich Lucius earlier today, and he said they were going to be a little more risky with Jake today. Felt comfortable about his performance here last season and said that he's ready for it, guys.
Well, I talked to Rich as well, and he said, this is what I'm going to do, Mike, but don't you tell anybody. So
Can we tell now?
Yes, we can tell now. This was exactly his plan. He said we're going to stay out at the end of stage 2 and leapfrog everybody, grab track position, and then pit as quick as we can. But this is going horribly wrong. They're having problems with that left rear, a bad pit stop.
Had problems with the right front. Now the left rear, he may find himself a lap down. You should be able to change 4 tires.
Here comes the leaders. Jake Garcia just exits pit road. Is it going to be enough?
No, it's not. But the thing about that, Phil, is all that strategy, all that thinking, and putting himself in a position to get that great finish because of the strategy, it just went out the window with that long pit stop. He gave up all those spots he gained by leapfrogging the field right there on pit road.
Christian Eckes up to 4th.
You don't think he's driving a little bit angry, do you? The way he's cut his way through this field after that bad pit stop?
He sounded pretty calm on the radio, but he's done a nice job here, getting all the way back up to the 4th spot already.
By the way, Ross Chastain into 2nd. Corey Heim continues to lead almost by 2 seconds.
And we know now that everybody theoretically should be able to make the end of the race from here. So it would not surprise me to see more people head to pit road anytime we come by the entrance to pit road.
What you're doing now by staying out is you're taking a bit of a risk that maybe the caution comes out and other people pit, but you're also making your last pit stop quicker because you don't need as much fuel.
Let's get an update on Ross Chastain. Josh.
Well, Jamie, as we keep an eye on when these teams will come down and top off with fuel, Phil Gould just came over the radio and told Ross to be mindful of his fuel. He said, hey, we're not saving yet, but be mindful. He said, be mindful of that, but don't give up too much position. So a strategy here for them to keep up with that fuel and be smart about how they handle the rest of this race.
Good insight on the 45 as you see Phil Gould, his crew chief, looking on.
You know, we talk about Matt Craft and them topping off. Jared Prince telling me that they were going to try to make it all the way this morning. Well, he's only 2 laps more fuel than everybody else, so there could be an opportunity possibly for some other of these teams. Now, I don't think Corey Heim could do it because he's leading, but maybe in some of those trucks. There's Nick Sanchez coming to pit road, Amanda.
Yeah, Phil, they're really going to make this a good stop. You'll go back to stage 1. They had that issue with the right rear for this time in this stop. Nick is telling his team that the truck is free firing off, but I think it will come to me in this run.
Well, he also had that bit of damage, so it's nice to get to pit road and take care of any possible issues here, and he's on his way.
Nick Sanchez gets some fuel, right side tires. Corey Heim continues to lead here at Pocono, 28 laps to go.
Every Saturday, your game is on Fox.
I mean, just feast your eyes on this. Because if baseball is as American as apple pie, then Fox Saturday Baseball was one heck of a slice. And with these guys on the menu, all you gotta do is sit back, relax, and make some room for a big old helping. With a cherry on top. Come on, it's Saturday.
This summer, snacking just got serious. Introducing new $3 footlong dippers. The world might not be ready for them.
But at $3 a pop, your wallet definitely is.
If your answer to the summer heat is let it rain, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
What does fearless look like? Like sliding through a glimmer of daylight? Like trading paint with a champion? Like starting in the back of the pack and stopping at nothing till everyone is choking on your dust? What does fearless look like? Find out for yourself. the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
While we were away, you saw the incident between Raja Caruth, Connor Mozak, teammates this weekend.
I think Raja just hopped her down in there a little hot, maybe.
Probably lost a little air off the spoiler like you typically see with the truck on the inside. Doesn't appear to be much damage, if any.
Oh, wow, look at all this traffic. Ben Rhodes is leading the way. I think Raja's going to try to use that draft to drive on the inside of Mozak and turns down in the corner and just gets loose.
Yeah,
there it is right there.
I'm not even sure that truck would even go all the way down to the bottom. Tried to get to the bottom, wasn't able to do it.
Does a nice job of minimizing any damage. They were battling inside the top 10 for 9th when it all went wrong right there.
Taylor Gray.
But watch him use the gas, Phil.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
on that throttle right
Hard
there.
on the throttle.
Now he's on the brakes. That's how you save one. You got to use all the tools you have. Brake, gas, clutch, whatever it takes, steering wheel. Nice job there by
Keeps it out of the outside wall. Now this opens up a lot of possibilities. Let's take a look from the 15 of Tanner Gray. There's that 3 wide we were talking about. Looked like he wiggled as he tried to get down in the corner. Looked like the 71 of Raja wiggled a little bit. Tanner doing a nice job avoiding that. But this opens up the possibilities here. We know everybody can make it here if they stop, from here if they stop. But with these caution laps, everyone's saving fuel. If the drivers don't come to pit road now, that means they're going to try to go the rest of the way, because it would not do them any good to stay on the racetrack and pit later.
I want to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Hendrick. 75th birthday today.
Birthday.
HendrickCars.com on the side of that truck. Appreciate all he's done for this sport. Happy birthday, bud.
Let's listen in on Grant Enfinger's radio.
But so this caution should put us good on fuel. Just keep saving. There is rain about 15-20 minutes out. I feel like we're just going to take the risk and stay out and hope for the rain to come. But we should be able to make it here. But there's a little bit of fall off, so some guys are going to come in and pit.
I like it. He said risk. You like the call?
I do like the call, especially because Grant's a veteran. He can save fuel. He knows how to save fuel. And he wasn't leading that pack. Corey Heim leading that pack. I mean, it's going to be a little harder to save fuel. But again, if these drivers don't come to pit road when it's open now, that means they're going to try to go the rest of the way, I think.
25 laps to go under caution for the first time for an incident. We'll drop the green flag and have a shootout to the end next. Welcome back to Pocono Raceway. Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, Amanda Busick, and Josh Sims with you. Winding down the laps here as we're under caution for the 3rd time this evening. First time for incident. Let's hear from a couple of our crew chiefs. Been talking about the work they've had cut out for them tonight. Josh?
Yeah, the crew chiefs are certainly busy as we look at the fuel scenario for the rest of the race. Here with Phil Gould, the crew chief of the 45, and Ross Chastain. Phil, what are you guys looking at in terms of being able to make it to the end on fuel?
I think this caution will put us right there at it. Another one wouldn't hurt my feelings just in case we get a green-white checker, but the Mardell Watermelon Association Chevy's been really fast all day. We had to do it the hard way, starting in the rear, and we'll just have to see how this plays out.
Ross Chastain up to 2nd right now.
Josh, Christian Eckes' crew chief is hoping for a few more cautions. And Charles, we saw you go to the notebook a couple times tonight. How much has your plan changed over this race?
Well, the plan went to plan B, and I think it went back to plan A. So I think the truck is pretty good. We got a little work cut out for us probably to battle with the 11 at the moment, but we'll see. We'll get a good shuffle in this restart here. We'll stretch the fuel to the end. That's our option to run right now. So I think that's what everybody else is doing as well.
How many laps under caution would make you feel safe?
I'm as safe as any of the other guys are right now up front.
His poker face is on 100%.
You know, and you love that. He said he went from A to B back to A. That's because of how fast Christian Eckes was able to race through the field. He passed 10 trucks in 2 laps, and that put him right back on page A, if you will.
That's right. See the choose here. Remember, the top 14 trucks coming to the choose stayed out. All of them will have to run at least 37 laps. Matt Crafton, Chris Wright stopped a couple laps after that, so a couple laps less for them.
Let's listen to Ross Chastain's radio.
I heard something about rain y'all?
We got rain coming. Radar doesn't look good. These caution laps will put us good on fuel to just go like hell.
I could just go.
That's what he wants to hear.
Like
That's what he wants to hear.
He's here for the wins. That's all Ross Chastain's looking for. He wants to smash a watermelon on the racetrack like he did at Darlington. So Corey Heim has been the dominant force tonight. He's led 32 laps, one stage 1, one stage 2. Christian Eckes had that bad pit stop, got him shuffled back in the mix. He's fought his way back up to 4th. 23 laps to go. Grant Enfinger on the inside, Corey Heim on the outside. Big push by Ross Chastain on the outside for Corey Heim. They start to fan out 4 wide as they head into turn 1.
See, Dean Thompson was the first truck to pull out, but there was such good pushes from the second row that he wasn't able to do anything.
And just remember, laps are winding down. Weather's in the area. These guys are going to push harder and harder. And we already saw examples of how easy it is to get out of shape if you're down on the bottom. So watch for more action as we go toward the checkered.
And watch that 19 truck, 14th in line. Michael, you talked about how fast he drove up there through the pack. Let's see what he's got now that he's gotten himself just a few behind the dominant truck tonight.
Battle among teammates. Taylor Gray in the 17, Dean Thompson in the 5. Remember, Taylor above the cut line coming in here.
Wow, that was a nice dive into turn 3, wasn't it? Took care of Dean in a hurry. Hop up another spot behind his brother.
There's a snake down the front straightaway.
And there's your playoff bubble. You see right there the action we have going on and how tight it is among those 3 drivers, 4 drivers even.
You see Daniel Dye, we talked about all the stage points he had received. Bad pit stop on this last pit stop for Daniel Dye.
Man, big move there. 2 or 3 trucks in turn 1.
Man, it's all the way back in the 23rd position right now, Michael.
Oh, golly, that's tight.
See him on the inside of the 25 of Ty Dillon. Got Raja right in front of him. Chris Wright, that's the 1 truck to his outside as well. Daniel Stake making moves back towards the front. Every position is a point. Don't forget that.
Daniel Dye running top 5 most of this race. Back in 22nd now. We've seen slow pit stops. Hit a bunch of guys, a bunch of drivers tonight as across the start-finish line. 20 laps to go. Sponsored by Craftsman.
Good. Grant Enfinger's able to stay right with Corey Heim, guys.
Remember the pep talk prior to the race and the energy he had? Well, he had something that he knew could win this race underneath of him. And that's the first person we've seen make ground on Corey Heim all day long.
I like what I'm seeing out of Grant Enfinger running second. Just 0.3 of a second behind our leader.
Ross Chastain from the 27th starting position. This racetrack is so fun to watch because of all the grooves and all the moves they have the ability to make. Christian Eckes, a bad pit stop, and he's right up inside that top 5. Matt Mills, another great run for the 42 truck.
Yeah, holding off Ty Majeski, Taylor Gray.
Connor Mozak, Bailey Curry racing there, and there you see Daniel Dye outside the top 20. Now he's up battling for a spot in 17th.
Let's get an update, Amanda.
Just on Daniel Dye, his stop when he came into the pit box, he put the truck in neutral and it cut off, had a hard time getting it re-fired to get back on track. To rectify the situation, his crew chief Blake Granger just said, go faster, bud.
Well, he's certainly been on the gas. Now he's just trying to make up some time. 71 of Raja Caruth saw that incident with Connor Mozak, his teammate.
Bailey Curry just ahead there. There you see Daniel Dye. He's in 20th now, so needs to make up some ground.
He's already gained 3 spots since we first talked about him after this restart. Got a fast enough truck. I think there's no doubt that he can gain some more spots before the end of this one. Majeski's going to grab that 5th spot from Matt Mills.
Haven't talked a lot about Ty Majeski. He's been in there in the mix, top 10 all race long. I know this young man is looking forward to the next 2 races that we have. Going to Lucas Oil Raceway Park for our next race next weekend. And the race after that is Richmond. 2 short tracks for him.
And an update on the 42 of Matt Mills, and you guys were talking about the great run he's having today. Got himself inside the top 6 right now, and he's coming off that great finish at Nashville where he finished in the top 10. He called that a big booster in terms of his confidence. Now, this is a guy that raced with KBM last year, and he attributes his success at Pocono to the notebook he was able to build from talking with Kyle Busch. That was a big boost for him as he has a strong run going on here, guys.
Ty Majeski in as well, making a pit stop here as they work on the left side. Just talking about him running in the top 10.
I think this is a voltage issue, Phil. Yeah. Sometimes where they go to work on the battery right there, and that's what that has every sign of being.
Yeah, we're getting a report that he had no power on the dash, Josh. Looks like they're going to take that left rear tire off to get to the battery.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is. They're going to have to change the battery for the 98, so a rough break for that team.
Well, we talked at the top of the show. He had a nice cushion over that cut line. This is obviously going to hurt some, but he's still going to easily make the playoffs.
I was thinking we were going to easily lock him in today with what we were saying. And
not so fast.
Just that quickly, everything changes.
Taylor Gray and Matt Mills for 5th right here. Matt Mills has been so impressive today. But Corey Heim trying to get it done for the 5th time this season. 16 laps to go. You're watching the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series CRC Brakleen 175. This is the battle for the lead. Corey Heim continues, but Grant Enfinger hard charge behind him.
That's what we were talking about during the break. He's hanging right in there, actually faster the last couple laps than was Corey Heim, and a great battle for the 3rd spot right here between Eckes and Ross Chastain.
Christian Eckes running 3rd right now. Let's listen in on his radio.
What should I be doing here fuel-wise? I think we're still looking for 1 lap here to the end. I think that's what we're short. What do you want me to start saving, or what do you want me to do here? Yes, we need to a little bit. Just stay in front of the 45. I think they're probably doing the same.
So how do you do that?
He's pulling the 45 along, though, so it's an advantage to Ross Chastain to be right there behind, and that's the difficult thing for Christian Eckes. How hard do I run to stay ahead of the 45, and do I let off the gas and the 45 passes me, or does he need me to pull him along to get the fuel mileage to get to the checker? There's going to be a lot of trucks. I mean, I hate to say it, I think there's going to be some trucks that don't make it.
I do too.
I mean, it's just that close.
We've never seen trucks go this far. They're trying to, most of the trucks in the field are trying to go 37 laps. A couple of them 35.
Based on the reports, you'd think the weather is about 12 to 15 minutes out.
Some say even less than that. So,
but those are the Pocono Mountains, Jamie. You never know when that stuff's going to sweep in.
Or when it's raining in turn 2 and you're just fine and sunny on the other end. Let's listen to the 9 radio.
And do you feel like you saved a lot under that caution?
The caution. Hey, bud, we're probably going to run out coming to the checkered on the front stretch. Just give her hell.
I heard a beep in there. What are you thinking as a driver when you get that news?
Well, you do all you can do.
Yeah,
you know you're challenging. And you can see maybe maybe Grant's decided I'm going to back it down a little bit more to make sure I do make it. There goes Ross around Eckes.
So now Eckes does the same thing that Ross was doing.
See the laps
in the draft?
Yeah, lap since pit. Look at Sanchez back there. Remember, he came in on that last caution, as did Brett Holmes running 9th and 11th. We know they're okay, but we're not sure about anybody else in the field. At least the trucks that are running up in the top 13.
And the big question is Corey Hyman. You guys mentioned it. When you're the one leading, you don't have that draft to run in and try to save, try to lift a little bit.
And he's been running the fastest laps, lap after lap. Either he or Grant Enfinger have been the fastest trucks on the racetrack. So you have to believe that Corey Heim hasn't been able to save much fuel. We were talking about Ross Chastain and Christian Eckes, and I look up and they actually ran 2 seconds slower that lap than Corey Heim did. So they're in certainly a conservation mode right now.
You see that last lap right there, the fastest. Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger down to Raja Carew, third fastest.
A lot of people up there, Jamie, flipped the switch and said we're going into full fuel conserve mode to try to get to the checker. Like you said, Phil, over 2 seconds for some of those trucks. That's crazy. That's how you save gas, though.
Looks like Eckes and Ross Chastain are taking turns leading that duo to try to save fuel. Say, you work with me, I'll work with you.
My crew chief told me one day, slow her down, slow her down. I said, I'm your man for that job. I got that covered. Amanda, what's happening down there?
Yeah, let's take a look at Nick Sanchez in the 2. He's a truck that might actually get to start pushing. He's one of the ones that made one of the last stops on track at lap 42. So when you think of the conservation of fuel, Nick might be in a good possession. The 8 trucks ahead of them, they were on lap 33. So when they heard that these teams are saving fuel, you have to think that the 2 is pretty excited about what's ahead, Josh.
Well, for Matt Crafton and that 88 team, and we have a caution out on the track for weather, guys.
Well, we were just talking about it. It could be raining at one end of the racetrack and the other end, not a drop. So caution comes out for the 4th time here, showing 9 laps to go.
There's about 20 crew chiefs right now breathing a sigh of relief.
This could certainly help.
Hey, it's raining hard, boys.
Corey Heim's naturally going to say it's raining hard.
I did see a little smirk and a laugh out of Scott Cipodelli when he heard his driver.
It's a monsoon out there as far as Corey Heim is concerned.
Now we're getting some good gas mileage. Feeling pretty good about things right now, especially with that rain falling. Been a challenge all day long. We knew that it's a possibility that this race could be shortened. And,
turn 2. It's always turn 2.
Off of turn.
Well, carried to turn 3. This one's carried over to turn 3.
So 2 out of the 3 turns are raining.
But what about brake calls? That's how dialed in these crew chiefs are. Everybody that pitted on lap 33, that's stretching it. That's stretching it here at Pocono to try to get to the end. But they all knew that their drivers could save them some fuel. Rain was coming. Weather could potentially be a problem, and they did it. It's amazing. There's so many of these teams that pitted on lap 33, and it's going to work out for them.
They just took a chance. And in NASCAR, if you're going to win at this competitive style of motorsports, you're going to have to take chances. And it's going to work out, it appears.
And you heard the radio on the 9. Jeff Stankiewicz just showed him the crew chief for Grant, and they said, we got to take a risk here, see what we can do. Follow the pace truck here and see what the weather decides to do. Oh, so close to the finish.
We would have been finished any other year here. Remember, 60 laps is what it's been in the past. 50 originally, and then 60 laps. We're now we've completed 62.
It's Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Ross Chastain, Taylor Gray. They're going to bring him down pit road, this time by such a giant racetrack. It takes a while to dry it too. Once that rain falls as hard as it looked like it was coming down in 2 and 3.
Yeah, so much asphalt to get dry. 2.5 miles.
See, the red flag has been displayed as they make their way down pit road. They'll come down to their pit stalls.
What an entertaining event, though, with all the crazy restarts and the 3 and 4 wide passing, and then throw strategy into the play. We knew would be a part of it, and certainly led up to all the hype that we thought this event would be. You can see trucks are pulling into their each individual pit. This is something new NASCAR is doing. Used to, we'd all line up in order and just walk to our pit, but it just makes a lot of sense.
Well, and then the crews would have to run all the length of pit road potentially with the covers if it's raining hard enough. Now they're right there at their pit stalls. I think it's a great move.
Great day for Grant Enfinger in that 9 truck. Had a lot of confidence when they started the engine, and he was right there knocking on the door when the red flag came out.
Yeah, 13 stage points in addition to right now running in the 2nd spot. Great day.
So if you look over on the left side of your screen, the pylon, it just switched over from 8 laps to a timed race at 1 hour, 8 minutes, 33 seconds to go. What are we looking at? What does this mean?
Well, NASCAR told these teams earlier in the day that they're going to go till 8:20, which is something new. Obviously, we saw that during the street race at Chicago last week. They will not run this race past 8:20. When the clock turns 8:20, say we have a long delay, we get back on the racetrack, we're not quite to the advertised distance of laps. Then once the clock would end at 8:20, then the leader would go around one more time, and then he would get the white flag and then the checkered flag. No overtimes, nothing like that. So it's a nice move, I think, NASCAR, and it's clearer for the crew chiefs, I think.
And it only applies. I mean, if it keeps raining and we lose the track, NASCAR can make the call when they see they can't get the race restarted by 8:20. So that's how long we're going to run too. That doesn't mean we won't have to call it earlier because the track being wet, not being able to get back in time. So the teams applaud this because they can plan around it. They know that it's coming at some point, and that's what was implemented here.
Yeah, if it rains hard and we lose the racetrack, we know we cannot drive this 2.5-mile facility in an hour. So NASCAR will have no choice but to go ahead and call this race.
Let's hear from the crew chief of the 9, Jeff Stankiewicz. Josh.
Well, yeah, and for this 9 team, they were really stretching it on fuel. So with this break right now due to weather, what is the mindset of the team now?
Yeah, well, I mean, we hope it goes back green. We don't want to finish second, right? But with this caution, we feel comfortable we can make it to the end here if we don't pit. If it goes back green, you're going to have some guys that are in the back are probably going to come put tires on. Probably have some guys that stay out. I think we're probably going to look at staying out, clean air. It's just so hard to pass. And you look at guys that are, 7 or 8 positions behind us, you run a second slower just about this place. So I feel like we're going to gamble it and just stay out if it goes green, and I feel like the cleaner's going to play out. But our truck gets better on older tires, so we feel pretty good. He's a little better than us in the tunnel turn, and we're better than him in turn 1, I feel like. But Grant's confident. He thinks he can race him pretty hard if we go back.
And when you talk about that confidence going into the day, Grant was saying this is one of the best trucks he's had all season long. We're seeing that confidence out there on the track. Feels like it's bleeding over throughout the entire team at this point.
Yeah, everybody's been working hard. We've been just slowly making our trucks better. We started off with a mix of different trucks in the shop, and we're starting to get everything honed in to having the same stuff and bringing the same trucks. And everybody's doing good at the shop. I want to thank, Jerry Painter and all his guys does a great job for us on the bodies. McAnally helps us a lot. GM, everybody's been helping and supporting us. And yeah, we're getting better every week, and I feel like we're really close to winning a race if everything will just go our way and we can execute a weekend right.
Good luck the rest of the way. This 9 team wants to go back racing, Jamie.
Well, I don't blame them. They had a good piece. Grant talked about it earlier today in practice, said it's the best truck he's had at Pocono, had a big smile on his face, really happy with the direction they're going.
Yeah, and we saw him stay right with Corey Heim. If he lost any ground, he's certainly in a fuel conservation mode as well, even though running consistently fast laps. So I would love to see this race go back green and see and it's going to be a mixed bag. As Jeff said, there's going to be some people that come and get 4 tires. Maybe those guys outside the top 10 try to make something happen there. We still have 28 trucks on the lead lap, so you'll give up a lot of track position unless you bring a lot of your friends with you down pit road.
You don't have any friends out there, Phil. Not even your teammates are your friends.
Let's hear from the leaders, crew chief, Amanda.
Well, Scott, we heard your driver say it's raining really hard in turn 2. You'll have to tell us how exaggerated that was. But as we switch we have the time on the scoreboard now as well as laps to go. How does your strategy adjust at this point?
We're going for the win. We're not coming back. So whatever happens. If they call it, we'll be good with that. If we go back racing, we'll rack them back up, see if we can win it straight up. The truck's been really good today. Corey's done a great job. Everybody at Tricon Garages worked really, really hard on this truck to prepare for this race. It was on our one we had circled that we feel like we gave up last year. So everything right now is good.
Will this caution help you guys get to the end?
Yeah, we're on it. We're close. As long as we don't have any green-white checkers, I think we'll be in good shape. And we've been saving the whole run, so by our calculations, we're okay to go to the end.
Well, Jamie, in Nashville, Corey Heim told me that he is the man to beat this season, and he has the team to do it.
Yeah, he does have that swagger and that confidence. And just take a look at what the season's been like for Corey Heim and this 11 team. 4-time winner already.
Yeah, on 4 different types of racetrack. There's a winner at Coda earlier in the year.
And just, at times, he's just so much faster than the rest of the field. And that's why he keeps pointing at his watch, because his times are better than everyone else's.
That was the 1.5 mile at Kansas. This is the 5/8 mile at North Wilkesboro. And then we're going to go to the 1.25 miles at Gateway.
And that was a really special win. Triple truck challenge. Paid off 50 grand there.
Trying to get it done here tonight. Came oh so close last year. Of all people, it was Kyle Busch, who he drove for in the past and spent time with, and Kyle has been really good to Corey Heim. Corey almost had him until a half a lap to go.
Yeah, and I talked to Scott earlier today, and he said that he was going to do exactly what he did. He wanted to win. He said, I want to be greedy. I want to win all the points, get all the points. And if he can hold on for the win, whether it rains it out or whether we get back going, he wins. That's a 60-point day for Corey Heim and Scott Zipadelli. And that's going to make up some ground. Christian Eckes has been so good, but that is going to make up some ground. They want to win that regular season point championship.
And look at the progress here. I don't think we're out of the realm of possibilities. I think we could go back racing quickly.
We hope that is the case. 8 laps to go. Drivers will stay strapped in their trucks. Don't go away. You got to stay here for the finish. Welcome back to Pocono Raceway. Exciting time as we just heard a big roar from the crowd as they announced drivers back out on track. We have 8 laps remaining. You guys think? I mean, they were making quick progress of the little bit of rain that did fall.
Yeah, I love it. I love to see these trucks back on the racetrack. And Jeff Stankiewicz is going to get his wish. Go after that win.
I'm going to tell you what, though. Some of them know that if this thing restarts, they're not going to make it to the finish. You know, they're going to have to either come to pit road or they're going to run out of gas because they haven't calculated that closely. But
these caution laps are
going to make a tremendous difference, but still a little bit antsy, I think, down there on pit road.
I know Scott Zipadelli said that Corey Heim was saving, but while he was saving, he was still the fastest truck on the racetrack. If not the fastest, the second fastest. So, boy, I don't know. These caution laps were desperately needed for these trucks, I think, to get to the end. Saw the 91 of Zane Smith go around our leader. He did get the free pass. Been a lap down most of this race, now back on the lead. Had some trouble earlier.
It is tough to see on final lap of a race and drivers falling out of the race, running out of fuel. You want to see them have an equal shot at it to the finish. I know that's part of racing, but you hate it for them, for the team. So hopefully everybody is in a good situation now with another lap or 2 of caution here, maybe even 3 or 4 laps at this point as they continue to drive.
They don't want to come back and see one to go yet. Just let me have another lap or 2 for some insurance.
Yeah, it could be exciting.
And there also could be overtimes. You know that this restart's going to be wild. We talk about how aggressive these drivers are on the restarts. I don't know how wide they can go into turn 1, maybe 5 wide or whatever. But we get another caution, we get some overtimes. That's going to really put a strain on these teams that are trying to stretch the fuel.
Uh-oh.
Still sprinkling out there.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Well, as long as we're under caution, we're counting the laps.
That's right.
Like to see these finish to completion. Don't want to see it end under caution.
Check out this. This is how you save fuel. You turn your engine off. Get it a little bit of momentum, lug it along, and then when you get a chance, shut your motor down and coast. You can hear him lugging that engine, then he shut it off.
Well, we're told they are going to bring them back to pit road as the raindrops are getting a little bit heavier.
Well, we got close there, didn't we? To get back going.
Our spotters are telling us there's rain everywhere, so
definitely don't pit because they don't see the possibility of us going back racing. But man, that got everybody's attention there to crank those things up and head to the track.
Exciting weekend of racing. Long Pond, Pennsylvania, always fun to go there. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. A lot of hiking up there. A lot of race fans. Of the Xfinity Series race coming up tomorrow. Cup Series on Sunday.
One of the coolest infields in NASCAR. It reminds you of Michigan and Pocono, or excuse me, Michigan, Talladega, Pocono. There's a lot of folks that camp out there for several days of the week to be a part of this weekend in the mountains.
You see him following the pace truck. As they'll bring him back down. So frustrating. Thought they were going to get to finish these last 8 laps of the race. But the red flag is out, so they stop counting those laps. Does not look good going into turn 1.
Yeah, once everyone got to pit road, then they've displayed the red flag again.
See the top 10 there. Matt Mills, great day for him. Great effort. Chase Purdy found himself up there in the top 10. Dean Thompson.
Yeah, good run for Dean. He's had a couple bumps in the road lately. There you see him covering up the 11 of Corey Heim.
Yeah, that's 2 top 10s in a row here for Dean Thompson. He finished 8th there last year as well.
Matt Mills talked about his good run. Top 5 at Charlotte. Top 10 last time out in Nashville. Top 10 again. That's when you get out of that truck with a smile on your face, because you know the Mellow Man's out there. He's your teammate. You want to make sure you keep pace with him, even though he's one of the best drivers in all of NASCAR. You still have an ego if you're a racer. You want to show people that you can do whatever anyone else could do in that equipment.
Brett Holmes just outside the top 10 with an 11th place run here. Good run for Brett.
See Christian Eckes' truck started on pole tonight because of the metric. Had a little bit of rain earlier in qualifying. It's kind of been hindering us throughout, but the good thing is we got most of the race in before the rain came. And drivers have been told that they can exit their trucks.
That's when our 8:20 race end starting to become more and more of a factor, because you can't get the race started back just immediately. If they didn't lose the track the first time at Shyward, but this time I feel like with them letting the drivers out and as heavy as we saw the rain, I think might be a bit of a challenge to get it dry. We'll see.
Yeah, they do such a good job of of making the racetrack raceable. But sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. It just gets too wet and there's not going to be enough time left. Fairly late start for this race. But we had some great racing.
We did that.
Over 60 laps of it.
Showed the onboard with Daniel Dye back in 18th. Tough break for him. He ran up there in the top 5 most of this race. Had a slow pit stop, got mired back in traffic.
That's when those stage points become oh so important and critical, Jamie. You're able to say, well, at least we walked out of there with points, even though we stumbled at the end. The engine died on Daniel when he was on pit road, and that caused them to have a 20-some second pit stop, and that put them in the back. There goes Daniel.
Yeah, for sure top 10. Jamie, as you mentioned, ran in the top 5 all day, so for sure top 10 could potentially go away if we don't get back going.
But the aggressive moves, the way he was driving, the way he's racing, it's a different guy from a year ago. A lot to carry his head high about, I think, what they're doing.
It's just so much confidence and deserve it as well.
Let's hear from Grant Enfinger, who's in second right now, Josh.
Oh, that's right, and we just heard from Jeff Stankiewicz, his crew chief, a few minutes ago. He wanted to go back racing. I know you want to go back racing because, like you told me, this truck is really good.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back out there. It's not looking real promising right now, but I mean, our team as a whole has been really clicking since North Wilkesboro, I feel like. We unloaded really good again today with our champion power equipment Chevy, and this is the best truck I've had at Pocono. I feel like we're a little bit better than Corey there on a long run. I feel like he's getting through the tunnel better than I am. feel like I'm getting through turn 1 better than he is, and turn 3 is kind of a wash. So obviously track position is really big here, but you know, we're going to be close on fuel. I know Corey was too. He's kind of hoping to run it towards the end, because I feel like from a handling standpoint, we were getting a little bit better. He was falling off just a little bit quicker than us, but and overall just happy with our performance and happy with our trending up right now. So like I said, a really fast Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet, and hopefully we can get back out there today. If not, really looking forward to the next week at IRP as well.
Thanks, Grant.
Well, Grant Enfinger mentioned North Wilkesboro is really when they turned the page and started clicking, and they finished second there. That was their first top 5 of the season. Could be another second place finish tonight, or if not, maybe one spot better if we get back to racing and finish this thing up.
A lot of smiles down there in that pit, though. They know they're heading in a great direction as we head toward the playoffs. I like what he said, too, about Indianapolis Raceway Park. So many people just love that little short track in Indiana. It's such a fun place to race. Got to race there back in the day, and I understand the energy when it comes to saying we're going to Indy to race. It's not the big track, but to me it's just as fun.
You won there, didn't you?
I did.
Sure.
Long time ago.
Look at the smile on Heimtime's face. That's got to be tough to wait it out.
Not when you're leading.
Are we? Are we not? Are we good? Are we not?
Not when you're leading. You're like, I don't care. Let it rain. I mean,
it's a lot better to be waiting it out when you have the lead.
Corey ran the Cup race last week for 23:11 at Chicago.
Was strong too. Got that thing up toward the top 10.
He also ran at Caraway Speedway about a week and a half ago.
That one didn't turn out.
That didn't go so
well.
good.
Not the same. But if we're not racing a truck, he's racing something somewhere. Runs in the Xfinity Series quite a bit for Sam Hunt Racing. Well, I just mentioned Caraway Speedway. This is what happened a little over a week ago.
Yeah, the Cars Tour, a little mid-week race. Got together with Jacob Hefner in the 95 car. There's Jacob right there.
Jacob backed out from underneath of him, and he rolled him on over.
Awfully glad I was actually watching this race when it happened, and was awfully glad to see Corey able to get out of that car. It took him a good while to get that car turned over, but there he is walking to the ambulance. Yeah, yeah, that was you, Corey. This one's going to be a whole lot better outcome, I think, than that Caraway race.
It's been an eventful couple of weeks for Corey Heim. Josh, who do you have?
I'm here with Christian Eckes, one of the guys that's been battling Corey Heim all season long for that regular season championship. But talk to me about this race right now. Obviously, you guys lost some spots on that last pit stop, able to get your way back to third. But what do you have left if we go back racing?
I don't know if I have anything for the 11. He was just really good. I just didn't have what it took to do that. But our Napa Auto Care Chevy is pretty solid. I think it's a second or third place truck. So if we go back green here, I think we'll have a shot at it. But overall, just proud of the effort. Our day got a little tougher there after that pit stop, but we've rebounded okay, and just got to keep on digging forward.
This top 10 streak you guys got going on and in line to keep that going here today, what can you say about the consistency of what this 19 team is doing?
Yeah, no, it's been good for sure. The only one outside the top 10 was a DNF at Atlanta, and I felt like we had the best truck there. So just kind of speaks volumes to everybody here at McAnally Hilgeman Racing. I don't know if we have the race-winning truck today, but normally do. So just proud of everybody.
Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, it has been a heck of a streak for him. Best of his career, not to mention 3 wins on the season so far.
There's the first one of the season for him at Bristol. Dominated that race at Bristol.
And then we go to the short track in Virginia, Martinsville. He does the same thing, pulls away late, and gets another victory. And then the only word to describe the third victory.
Beat down.
Yes. Domination. Beat down's 2 words still, but
okay,
that's
there you
close. Go. But there he is in victory lane celebrating with his guitar. And the interesting thing about Christian at Nashville, you know, usually he says, I don't think our truck's right where it needs to be. I'm not sure this. At Nashville, he told me before the race, he said, this thing is right.
I think he smiled, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a smile on his face before the race. That's something I'd never seen before. And then he goes out and leads every lap of the race. And as we said, one word, he's just a beatdown.
Well, let's hear from another driver, Taylor Gray. Amanda?
Yeah, Jamie is currently sitting in the 5th position, said that he does have the truck to get after it if we get back to green. So when you go through your mind of how you would execute this finish, what would you do?
Yeah, man, no, honestly, it's all about who gets the best restart, right? And who's going to be the most aggressive, who's going to take the biggest chance to get clean air and get out front. So we have a really good Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Jeff Hensley did a good job this weekend bringing a really fast truck. Just have to execute, hopefully go back green here, rain holds off.
When you talk about the restart, there's a lot of anticipation in that start. How do you move through the momentum of what is required in a restart?
Kind of heard you. I kind of lost you the last half of there, but honestly, just the biggest thing is just have to focus, just listen to your resources, and just execute a restart.
A good answer for someone that barely heard it, guys.
Well done. How about that stash he's rocking?
Oh, yeah.
Throwback to the 70s. Old school Tricon jacket, too. Looking good. Sitting 5th right now, too. Happy with that, but ready to get going. 8 laps remaining here. Track drying continues at Pocono. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as we're under a weather delay right now. Showing 7 laps to go and we're under red, but the good news is the track drying continues and that means the rain has let up. We want to see this thing all the way to the end.
We do.
A lot of drivers do too. There's guys that find themselves back in the pack because of some issues on pit road. Josh, I think you've caught up with one of those drivers.
Yeah, here with Daniel Dye, and like you mentioned, one of those drivers that would love to see this race through to the end. Obviously a strong points day for you so far, but right now not in the position you'd like to be because of a pit stop.
Yeah, just stalled coming into the pit box, idles really lows. Something that we probably could have fixed in practice too. So yeah, it sucks for sure. Got to start fighting, hopefully get a little bit of help from my teammates moving forward. Like you said, really good stage points day. But we're getting back in the truck, so I'm going to go fight my butt off and get as close to the front as I can. I got to go get some points.
All right, there you go. Go get them, Daniel.
Back to the trucks, he said.
I love that.
Breaking news from Daniel Dye. Not only does he carry his onboard camera with us, he breaks news to us.
Yes, he does.
We don't have to pay him, do we? We don't have to pay him for all the stuff he does, do we?
Truckers getting back in. Shows 6 laps to go now that it's switched over to the yellow. Corey Heim says, all right. I can go out and fight for another 6 laps. So we've had 4 different leaders tonight. Corey Heim has led 48. Christian Eckes led the 11 opening laps. Jake Garcia led 4, and Grant Enfinger shown as leader of 1 lap. Tanner Gray just took a good look at him as he buckles in, sitting 10th. Talk about that cutoff line so much and who's out and who's in. With just 2 races remaining after Pocono before the playoffs. Tanner Gray, 14 points to the good. See it right there. And it's switched around a bit.
Yeah, it has. And it's going to switch around a bit more if we throw that green flag. There's going to be a lot of anxious drivers outside the top 10 that will be serious about fighting their way through. And anytime it gets this late in a truck race, it's chaotic, I think is the best word to explain exactly what these restarts do look like.
See the 4 win stickers right by Corey Heim's name. They're running out of room. They're going to have to start covering up his name.
He'll gladly take his name off. And
everybody loves stickers. The stickers are what it's all about.
Chris Buescher really started, for the fans that weren't aware of win stickers, at Darlington, when he got so upset, he went up and he said, he's got the win sticker. I don't. Well, there they are. You win, you get a sticker to show everybody how many times you've gone to victory lane.
And that could help you, or it will help you to a championship. That's how important those stickers are. Each one of them 5 playoff points.
Well, it's been a fun and exciting evening so far here at Pocono. A little race recap.
That was the only blemish of the day, pretty much, for Corey Heim.
Yeah, just didn't get the start we thought he would get, but he was able to rally can see, look at that dive to the inside of the racetrack. That's all about aerodynamics, getting away from the other truck.
Here he is, grabbing that second spot. That's the same shot from the back. Yeah, here he is now, fighting with Christian Eckes, battling for the lead.
One of the most exciting battles we saw all night.
Yeah, Corey passed him going in the tunnel turn, then Christian did the crossover, got him back, but then Corey stayed on the outside and was able to get the lead back and wins that first stage.
You know what he's going to do also, Phil? We're going to see some great battling throughout the field. You can see Nicholas Sanchez into the side, Jake Garcia, and then getting loose is Rajah Caruth. He's able to keep the gas down, get the brakes on, and keep that truck out of the outside wall. That was a great move for Rajah, and the red flag flies for precipitation in the area.
And that incident with Rajah was the only caution we've had for incident. The other two, obviously, the end of the stage breaks.
And while all this was going on, Corey Heim was dominating.
Yes.
He's been that kind of guy. But just a reminder, when you lead the race and you're going that fast, you're using more gas. So I'm still interested to see these pits, these caution laps gain you basically a lap. When you make a lap under green, you can get 2 under caution. So
yeah, it's close to 1 to 1. You gain, or 2 for 1, I should say.
And look what you get to take home. Not only do you get to take home that beautiful All-American trophy with the Bald Eagle, you get the Craftsman tools.
That's the deal of the race right there.
Don't you get the big Craftsman chain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Like the medallion thing or whatever on
like
it.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey Heim's racking those up.
Yeah, getting buckled in.
This is a great sign.
Yes, it is. You can see the sun shining on the press box up at the top of the screen.
You know, I know, obviously, these caution laps have allowed these teams to save a little more fuel like you were talking about, Michael, but I'm not sure. We're still out of the woods yet on some people possibly running out of gas.
Or possibly pitting right now as well.
Well, and you mentioned possibility of green-white checker, too.
And I would think a strong possibility, not a green-white checker, because we know how aggressive these drivers are with such a little time left in this race.
Certainly a sense of urgency, and that's one team that's excited to see this. Grant Enfinger.
I think this one as well. Charleston Ike on the pit box for Christian Eckes.
Wonder what his notebook looks like now. How many pages are left?
I think he just threw it down. He's done. He said, "You've got what you've got. We hopefully have enough fuel. Hopefully, if we have some overtime, we have enough fuel. Not much we can do about it right now."
That's why we race. Don't know the outcome.
Remember, Charles went from plan A to plan B.
And then right back.
And then right back. Right back.
You know, you have a right to change your mind when the facts change.
Yes, you do.
Well, we mentioned that the regular season is winding down. Just 2 races remain after tonight. Next Friday night, my hometown, Indianapolis. We go to Lucas Oil Raceway Park. And you set the scene, Michael, how fun it is to race there. Always good racing, no matter what they're racing out there. Under the lights, it's going to be exciting. We'll see some of that, too.
Yeah, I was part of the first Busch Series race we ever ran at IRP back in 1982, and I cannot tell you how big a deal that was for NASCAR to go into the Indianapolis market. Yes, it wasn't the Brickyard, but it was a great event there at IRP.
So you see Lucas Oil Raceway Park, July 19th.
Short track, short track. We're going short tracking.
And Richmond, baby.
That's
August 10th. Looking forward to those 2 races. I know there's a few of our drivers in the field. They are short track specialists, like Ty Majeski. Looking forward to that.
And then Milwaukee Mile, that's a big track that races like a short track.
We call it a short track, even though technically it's not, but we call it a short track.
By the way, we're at Pocono, and all 3 turns were named or designed after 3 different racetracks. Turn 3, Milwaukee Mile.
That's right.
They're warming up for the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Turn 1, you know what turn 1's?
Trenton Speedway.
Yeah.
And then Indianapolis Motor Speedway, turn 2. This track was designed by 1962 Indy 500 winner, Roger Ward. That'd be fun.
2-time Indy winner.
There it is.
See that long straightaway there, up to 185 or 90 miles an hour. And there's that Trenton turn number 1, kidney-shaped racetrack at Trenton.
And then turn 2, based off what we have at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And the Milwaukee Mile, always fun to go to Milwaukee, and we'll be there for the first race of our playoffs.
How fun to be a race car driver, though, and sit down and they say, okay, here's a piece of paper, here's a pen, you design what you want, and you come back with a triangle.
Initially, they had this racetrack was only 3/4 of a mile. They didn't have enough money to do the full 2.5 mile. So a lot of the early races, the ARCA Series raced here, and the modifieds raced here a lot on a 3/4 mile racetrack inside of this. My brother Benny was actually in that first ARCA race here back in 1969, and Jamie, that race was won by Bobby Watson of Prestonburg, Kentucky.
Wow. A lot of history here. So we've seen this already once tonight. Raise the red flag. It is caution. Bring the trucks out, park them here so everybody makes their way into the lineup.
How about a standing start? Just go from here.
Okay.
I don't know about all that.
You're getting crazy on us, Phil.
You're going to get them to get out and run over to their trucks like they used to.
And they did do that.
Yeah.
You know, I was told back in the day that those drivers would jump in those cars and take off, and they wouldn't put their belts on until they got to the Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Man, this is exciting. You're going to get to see these 3 or 4 laps of green flag racing if we're lucky, or if everybody makes it, because if they throw the green flag with 2 or 3 laps to go, I highly doubt that everybody gets back without some contact. We could see some overtime.
You don't think that's the last caution?
I don't think it is.
Remember,
They've been pretty calm tonight.
29 trucks on the lead lap.
Here the fans fired up. They've waited all day. It has been a long day. It always is for the truckers. They show up that day. The garage opens. They work on their trucks. They have 20 minutes of practice, which, by the way, there was a little rain delay then. Then they made the switch over to qualifying, and then there was another delay there, and then they had to cancel qualifying. And then there was a quick turnaround. A couple hours later, we fired them up to start the race, got most of it in. And then the rain came with 8 laps to go.
8:30 this morning is when the truck garage opened for these teams.
We will be finished by 8:30 Eastern because we will run out of light. They don't have lights at this racetrack. Everybody asked Bob Pockris, do they have lights at the track? Bob would say no.
No. And we should be fine. Obviously, 8:20 is what NASCAR has set for the time that this race would be theoretically close to over after a white flag and a checker. But I don't think we're going to, unless we get a bunch of overtimes, we're not going to approach that.
What about that race at Nashville, the Cup race? How many people were running out of gas?
31 laps.
31 laps of overtime?
Yeah.
That's a lot of overtime.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Got Raja Karuth in 9th right now after that contact with Connor Mozak. His truck really didn't have any damage on it. Lost a couple spots.
There's probably nobody in the field that wants this race restarted more than this young man right here, Daniel Dye.
We're going to open pit road this time by. See how many people were telling us straight up they thought they were going to make it. See somebody dart on pit road. That'd be a really hard pit stop to overcome, I think.
I think if I'm outside the top 50, there's so many trucks on the lead lap, though. But, you know, you can fan out on these restarts. Yeah. So if I'm outside the top 15, I'm going to think about it, possibly. I don't know that I would have the guts to do it if I'm inside the top 15. How about you, Michael?
I agree with you 100%. Get enough fuel in that thing right now if you're out that far. And if there is a couple overtimes, you never know how far up front you can get. There's pit road. See if anybody decides to get a little insurance policy here with some fuel.
Yeah, nobody up front is going to do it.
Not interested.
Pit road is open. And we'll choose the next time. Here we got some action down here.
Couple in the back.
Yeah. Looks like Bailey
Luke
Curry,
Fenhouse.
the 41, and Luke Fenhouse, Jake Garcia.
The 33 of Lawless Allen. They're all going to pick up a little insurance with their fuel. Never know what'll happen up front.
16th is where Bailey Curry was running. So we said, Michael, just outside the top 15, and that's exactly what happened.
And you saw those sticker tires go on there. We have seen some fall off in the tires throughout the course of a long run, but probably going to need, like I said, a little overtime action if he's able to take advantage of this stop.
And that's one thing Jeff Stankiewicz said when we interviewed him after the first stoppage. He said there's a little bit of fall off on the tires, but again, nobody inside of the top 15 came to pit road.
Sage Karam, Luke Fenhouse, a couple of guys we don't usually see in the Truck Series. Luke making his second start, finished 10th in his Truck Series debut at Gateway in the 66 for Thor Sport.
Sage making his second Truck Series start ever, right?
Congratulations to Sage, by the way. Became a new dad for the first time, actually, just a month ago. Jetson is his son's name. They live in Philadelphia, or in Pennsylvania. So a home racetrack for Sage.
Let's see what Ross is thinking. We talked to him early before the race, Phil, and he said he was going to be calm and take it easy. Now he's in 4th, and there's only a couple laps to go. You think he ramps her up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's ask him. Hey, Ross, it's Michael Waltrip and the Fox Sports team. Do you copy me? Hey, Ross, it's the Fox Sports team. Do you copy? I want to ask you a question.
I'm not Ross, this is Sage Karen, but you can tell Ross I said hello.
Oh, thanks, Sage. If we get a hold of Ross, I'll tell him you sent your best.
Sounds good.
Well, we were just talking about Sage. So hello, Sage.
Yeah, he's from this area.
I should have said, hey, we were just talking about you.
Nice to check in on Sage.
Got a little airtime.
It's always fun to see who you find on somebody else's radio.
I think we should play radio roulette. Just spin it and see who we land on.
It was nice of him to say hello to Ross, too, though, I thought.
Wishing him the best.
Our choose could be really critical here. We're coming to the choose. This time,
I want to be on the outside, but
Corey's going to take the outside.
I don't want to give up a row, so I think if I'm Grant, I go to the bottom.
He's fading towards the bottom right now. That will probably allow Christian Eckes to jump to the outside. Well,
no, he went behind him.
How about that? Grant Enfinger is going to stay to the outside. Christian Eckes will restart this race right inside of his arch nemesis, Corey Heim.
And the thing about it is, it's hard to hold that bottom lane. Your truck wants to get loose. It wants to slide up. So when you do go up top, when you're Grant Enfinger, you're taking a chance on somebody sliding into you. I think if you're Corey Heim, you're confident you can get the jump on the start and take the turn yourself. But when you make the decision Grant just made, it could be dicey.
Let's listen to Grant Enfinger's radio.
I got a plan. Okay, as long as you got a plan. I'm saying it's going to work, but I think it's our best play.
Grant's got a plan.
What do you think that is?
Push, push, push from behind. Get Corey out in front of him and try to see if he can deal with him after that. You got to shove, and that's the fastest truck. I think Grant's just thinking to himself, I can't risk going down in turn 1 on the inside of that truck. I want to be behind him.
The inside has shown to be a bit of a disadvantage on the starts, and we saw Corey Heim have a struggle the initial start of the race, lost a number of positions. Every other leader has taken the outside for these restarts.
Shaking those tires, weaving his truck back and forth, making sure he gets all the excess rubber build up off of them and go racing.
So we'll have 3 laps to go when we take the green here. And the front row looks just like it did when we dropped the initial green flag. Just flip-flopped.
Assuming that we don't get any more caution flags, we're going to have 3 laps to go. I'd be shocked if we don't get another caution.
I would be too. There's just too much on the line. You can just push a little bit harder and you step over that line, and next thing you know, you got trucks spinning.
I haven't calculated the exact time since the rain came, but it's been a while. They have been waiting in and out of their trucks. Corey Heim has been the dominant truck in the 11 on the outside. Christian Eckes on the inside. Green flag is in the air.
Pretty good start for Christian. Has a good pusher with Ross behind him.
The fan out behind him.
Oh!
4 wide. Christian Eckes gets sideways. He saves it. Here comes Ross Chastain to the inside. How did he keep his truck straight?
And not only did he keep it straight, he's gaining ground on Grant Enfinger on the outside.
I don't think Christian Eckes lifted there. Side by side with Grant Enfinger for second. Is that...
Matt Mills dives on the inside of Ross Chastain. There's a crashing back in the back.
Taylor Gray making hay on the outside. A couple of slow trucks behind him.
I don't think that'll bring a caution flag out, though.
Matt Crafton up in the top 10, but look at that lead for Corey Heim.
Massive restart for Corey Heim, doing what he's been doing all race long. Grant Enfinger heard in the interview he thinks he's better than him on the long run. We don't have time for a long run here.
Stuart Friesen trying to push ahead, get all he can here, needs those points desperately.
He was able to use that draft to get ahead of the 77 of Chase Purdy. Look at Matt Crafton down to the inside of Matt Mills.
This save is amazing. He's getting the push he wants. He wants this push, but it goes awry. You can see Ross out on the outside. I can't believe he saved that truck. That is amazing.
And Ross was trying to help him. He was not trying to get him sideways.
A lot of damage on the front of Ross Chastain's truck, that number 45, but this is the battle right here for second.
Corey Heim saying, let's just get to the white flag before anything happens.
Well, he's going to get there in a hurry.
He's going to get there. We've got a truck that's crippled on the inside of the racetrack. That's the one that was smoking on the backstretch. He is going to get to the start-finish line.
White flag is in the air. Next flag will end the race, whether it's caution or a checkered. Hot pursuit behind him. Christian Eckes takes a peek to the inside. Can he get around Grant Enfinger and take over that second spot?
Doesn't have anything to lose. He's got enough of a gap there if he gets to the inside of him and stays there. The truck of Taylor Gray's not going to get there.
He's going to dip back in behind to try to get a little bit of draft off this 9 of Enfinger.
Corey Heim was leading on the final lap of this race last year. He was passed in turn 2 by Kyle Busch and finished second. Had a little bit of redemption, brought back a brand new race truck, looking for his first win at Pocono. Grant Enfinger behind him by 8/10. Corey Heim in the 11 truck. They have been lights out all season long. And he does it. Checker flag in the air. Corey Heim gets it done for the 5th time in 2024.
Just an amazing restart. Amazing young race driver. He can get it done in all circumstances.
These boys are getting used to Heim time. I love it because they love to go over and meet their driver and lift him up and celebrate with them.
We talk about the Christian Eckes Corey Heim battle all year long. These two drivers have won 8 of the last 11 races.
Thank you, boys. Thanks for all your hard work this week. We know we had some late hours, but you guys are awesome. Great job.
Coming into this race, I had written down the #1 driver on restarts this year, Corey Heim. Huge restart, the one that counted.
The #1 driver in most all categories is Corey Heim, and that's why he's racing on Sunday already, and will be racing on Sunday full time before long.
And Scott Zipadelli right there.
What a job he's done too, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's been around so long and crew chiefed in different series, but he knew he had a special one when he was paired with Corey Heim, and I think he's living his best life right now.
Yes, he is. Remember, a 60-point day for Corey Heim.
And Christian Eckes just did it at Nashville. I mean,
Christian Eckes makes a statement at Nashville. Corey Heim says, "Not so quick, young man. I'm going to match that."
And it's raining. The sun is shining, and it's raining.
Hats off to NASCAR, too, for never giving up, working that track in, getting us a chance to see that dramatic restart and that last
It's
lap.
a sun shower. Mark Smith says that's our crew chief, our producer. Look at that.
Got to be a rainbow somewhere if we're going to have some rain out there, right?
Unbelievable. It was cleared just enough for 3 laps of racing. Hey, and the guys, they kept it straight. They tried to wreck.
Yeah, they did in the back, but not in the front, so that was good.
Well, they tried at the very start on the restart when that great push by Ross Chastain turned Christian sideways.
That's the move. That's the save of the year, I think. Wow. What a job Christian Eckes did hanging onto that truck. Wide open, by the way.
Corey Heim's getting pretty good at these burnouts.
It's a lot of practice at it.
Does he have a watch deal yet?
Wish I could run down there and talk to him like
we did at St. Louis.
Isn't it so much fun? To me, the best part of being a pit reporter is getting to talk to the winner right when they get out of that truck or car.
There's his team coming down to celebrate.
There's Goat. Cameraman in the shot.
Look at that sunset.
Beautiful picture.
Yeah, that's dramatic. That was a fun race.
The race was 10 laps longer than it's ever been before, and it took a while to get through those last 10 laps, but we did it.
Hour, probably an hour or more to get that through those last 10 laps.
So, Corey Heim, 22 years old, from Marietta, Georgia. 10th career win in just his 55th start. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
That makes my eyes happy.
This moment makes Corey very happy. There's his team. They always come out to greet him. Yep, it's Heim time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
David Gilliland,
There it
and
is.
there is the rainbow.
Yep. Love it.
We have seen it all. Amanda standing by with our winner.
You can see Corey Heim being congratulated by his team as he heads over to grab that checker flag that he earned here on that restart and to the domination that he had here during that race. You'll go back to the start of the race, and we talked to Scott Zipadelli right after the start about Corey Heim and the trust that he has for this driver. The battles that he had on track with Christian Eckes today, and boy, do we get to see that for the rest of the season.
Limoncello, come on.
Corey, it is your 5th win on the season. After the start of this race, we talked to your crew chief, and he told us the trust that he has in you as a driver. In Nashville, you told me that you are the guy this season. Where does this innate trust come from, Corey?
I think Scott, right from the very beginning, Scott and I, rather, we've had such a close bond, and he just does such a phenomenal job giving me fast Safe Flight Tundra Charity Pros every week, and this week wasn't any different. This thing was badass. Got a badass crew, badass truck week in and week out, and just so proud of these guys. Can't say enough about them. 5 wins is something I never thought I'd achieve in a single season, but here we are, and we got many more to go, so I'm pumped. It's awesome.
Does this put to peace last season?
No, not at all. I mean, you go out to win every race, and I don't know. I mean, just looking back at last season, we could have a lot more potential, but we're focused on 2024. We got all the potential in the world right now, so huge thank you to Safe Flight, Toyota Racing, Tricon Garage, just such a phenomenal day for us.
The rain is falling, and Corey Heim is your winner here at Pocono. Josh?
The Grand Am Finger comes home second today. We heard you come over the radio, tell the team you have a plan. Let's see if it works out. What was that plan going into that final restart?
Man, I just felt like the outside row would stay organized, and I was counting on the bottom row getting unorganized to where we could clear him, halfway down the front straightaway there, and maybe I could have made a move on Corey. I still feel like that was probably my best play. Just didn't fan out very well. Ross did a great job of pushing Christian. They did a great job keeping that bottom lane connected, and we just didn't have enough to clear them before we went into turn 1. I feel like overall still very, very proud of this 9 bunch. Everybody at CR7 Motorsports has done a really, really good job. This is a really great truck, best truck I've had here. Wish we could have pulled it off, but I feel like from an execution standpoint, pit road, restarts, just setup, unloading, everything went well today. We still got ways to improve, and we still got small details to work on, but very happy about where things are going moving into the playoffs.
Runner-up finish for Grand Am Finger here at Pocono. We're going to walk over here and check in with Christian Eckes. And Christian, talk to me about that final restart and that save, because things could have got a lot worse than a 3rd place finish on you for the day.
Yeah, that didn't go very well. Yeah, I think I was coming up a little bit to, never mind, I wasn't coming up. It was just bad push, I guess. But yeah, proud of the team effort. We were 17th or so on that one restart and came back to finish 3rd. So proud of everybody. Thanks to Napa Auto Care, Gates, everybody involved on IRP.
Keeping that top 10 streak going for Christian Eckes. Jamie?
Yeah, a valiant effort by him, gave it his all the way down to the final restart.
Don't you love it? On to IRP.
We talked about how close it was, 14-point gap below the cut line. Now only 1 point. Daniel Dye is able to parlay those great stage finishes to get himself above the cut line by 1 point. You see Stuart Friesen now only 4 points behind. What a battle we have with 2 to go.
Can't believe we're already down to 2 races to go, both short tracks. And then the Truck Series will move into the playoffs in August. Trucks and ARCA racing coming up next weekend from Indianapolis Raceway Park, also known as Lucas Oil. Do we call it anything else? It's an awesome racetrack in Indianapolis.
We call it fun.
That's right. Action-packed trucks qualifying coming up 3:30 on Friday, and then ARCA Menard Series racing at 5:30, and the Truck Series race at 8:30. All times are Eastern. Can't wait for that. I know the truckers can't either. What a day it was. From the tricky triangle, congratulations, Corey Heim gets it done for the 5th time this season. We're happy you stayed with us. We saw a little bit of everything. For Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, Amanda Busick, Josh Sims, and our entire Fox Sports team, I'm Jamie Little. Thanks for hanging out with us. Congratulations to Corey Heim. USA Basketball Showcase Canada versus USA is coming up next.